Yeah, so I started going to pub quizzes basically as a social thing, and then I started writing them, which started about 23 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, moved from one pub to another, a few quizzes. At one point, we were going to 3 or 4 a week, which was a little excessive, and we had to cut back. But for the last 20 years, I've been regularly running a pub quiz. I haven't done that, and I'm not sure if I'm going to restart. Having done 8 years in the one pub as the sole person, week in, week out, it's certainly a big commitment.
Did you not think of doing Zoom quizzes during COVID lockdown?
In fact, Jon did. Jon wrote the quiz for the BSAVA Congress.
Oh, right.
Which was the most attended social part of Congress. So thanks, Jon.
Well done.
No problem.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So do you have a favourite line of questions or?
Yes, I like questions which people feel they should know the answer, but only 20% of people can remember.
Right.
There are good ones across the board, and if there's people have a particular speciality, like my favourite question, if somebody likes the Beatles, is the Nowhere Man, famous in song.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
Mr. Nowhere Man.
Now, the trick to this is it's not mentioned in the song.
Right, so there's no point me humming the song trying to remember the lyrics.
No,
as we were all doing, and our listeners will be doing now. So
he appears in the film Yellow Submarine, and he's called Jeremy.
You've spoilt it. You could have let that one hang.
So I remember that now. A funny bloke with a big nose, wasn't he? Yeah.
And the flower growing out of his head. Yes. So
okay.
The true or false round I always quite like.
Mm-hmm.
Go on then.
Because you can have a lot of fun with that. I'm the only person I know that's actually done a true or false round where every single answer was false, and another one where every single answer was true.
Right.
Because people presumably will feel reluctant to give the same answer every time. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's only a certain number of ones you haven't a clue whether they're true or false that you're willing to put the same answer for.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite true or false question of all time is true or false. The name dinosaur comes from the Latin meaning terrible lizard. True or false? Everybody puts the same answer.
False. It's false.
It is false. Everybody thinks it's true.
Anyone who speaks Greek would know that the Latin language is not the language it was written in.
Right. Okay.
So the little trick there is everybody hears the terrible lizard, which they've heard of, but nobody notices you said Latin, not Greek.
Right.
Fantastic. I love the one you also ask some blindingly obvious questions which frighten people because they're too blindingly obvious. They think there's a catch here.
So how long was the 6-Day War? Are you willing to put your neck out there?
Is it 6 days, Jon?
It is 6 days.
Yay!
Which country does the Panama hat come from?
Oh, is it Panama?
It's Ecuador.
Oh. Oh.
Do you see? It's great. If you ask those questions serially, then people are going to be complaining. Oh, yeah. Oh, bugger.
I think I may be the only quizmaster who's asked the quiz question, which great ape has the scientific name gorilla, and had 3 teams put something other than gorilla.
But in fact, it's the lowland gorilla is gorilla, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it was made a major in the army.
I'm wondering here whether I wonder if we could get some feedback from our listeners as to whether they'd like Jon to put some 2 or 3 questions together for us that we could actually use every episode of Veterinary Ramblings, because it sounds like great fun to me.
It's brilliant. Every time Jon comes to stay, he puts my wife and I to complete and utter shame by asking us questions and sitting there smugly with us thinking, oh, I should know this. I don't. And you don't give the answer that you first thought of. And he says, it was the answer you first thought of. And so the next question, you think, I'm confident, I know it. So you give the answer.
Nobody'd fall for that.
No.
Nobody would ever fall for that, would they?
No, they wouldn't.
No.
Always.
Ecuador. Ecuador. The Panama hat came from Ecuador.
The reason the Panama hat is called the Panama hat is from the building of the canal, because of the
famous Ecuador canal.
They imported a whole load of the hats from Ecuador for the workers on the Panama Canal, so everybody saw them in Panama first.
That's an interesting adjunct to the story.
So do you just pick up the facts, or do you ruthlessly and scrupulously investigate encyclopedias and dictionaries to get your questions, or just sit back and think, what interesting fact did I remember from 15 years ago?
A combination of both. That's why potentially I was thinking of not continuing the pub quiz that I've been doing, because it was getting more of a chore to write the questions rather than an enjoyment.
Right.
When you're enjoying doing it, I have a pad or the iPad next to me when I'm watching the television. A stupid advert comes up, and so right, what is advertised by a Rastafarian milking a giraffe while it eats a cotton candy rainbow? Skittles, it was.
Yeah. And that's come from someone who doesn't even have a television.
You obviously remember that from the last quiz.
Must have done somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
but so something comes up in a program you're watching. We'll put that big news story. You write that down and you put it in your quiz 6 months later, and everybody says, "Oh, I remember that being on the news. Oh, I remember," and then they can't remember the details then.
Interesting.